The human brain can process a catastrophic emergency in less than a millisecond. But when a 10-year lie finally snaps, time doesn't speed up, it stops. The silence that followed the dropped fork was suffocating. Arthur didn't look at his son. He stared blankly down at his dinner, cut wide open and completely ruined. Across from him, Julian sat perfectly still, hands neatly folded, savoring the absolute shock radiating from his father. Julian broke the silence with a calm, lethal politeness. He told his father that he wasn't eating, mocking the 3 hours Eleanor had spent on the dinner preparation. Between them, Eleanor slowly, deliberately lowered her wine glass, letting the base make a clean, sharp clink against the wood. She didn't look at her husband. Her eyes were fixed entirely on her son. Arthur's voice was dry, raspy, and dangerously calm when he finally looked up. He told Julian that he always had his mother's eyes, focused, precise, but completely blind to the periphery. Julian only smirked, sliding the silver flash drive closer to his father's plate. He told Arthur that the periphery didn't matter when the foundation was already gone. The offshore ledgers, the leaked documents, the corporate fraud, it all carried Arthur's personal cryptographic key. By morning, the board would ruin him. By noon, the authorities would arrest him. Julian called it a perfect checkmate. Julian expected a confession. He expected to watch his father collapse. Instead, he watched a terrifying, cold smile creep across the old man's face. Arthur leaned forward, cutting off the space between them under the interrogation lamp. He whispered a single question that made the color drain from Julian's face. Did the boy truly believe a $40 million empire left its back-end servers completely unguarded for a decade, to an IP address tracking directly out of Julian's own apartment? Arthur hadn't tried to stop the leaks over the last 10 years. He had fed them. Every single document Julian had downloaded over the previous 6 months was a unique, falsified variant, meticulously tagged by cybersecurity. The cryptographic key on that flash drive didn't prove Arthur committed fraud. It proved that whoever accessed those specific files had committed corporate espionage. Julian hadn't brought a checkmate. He had brought the state's entire case directly to his father's table. Arthur calmly noted that the federal authorities had already been sitting in the driveway for 20 minutes, waiting for the boy to admit he held the encryption key. Julian felt the room shrinking into nothingness. 10 years of calculated planning dismantled in 10 seconds. But as Arthur reached for his glass to toast his crushing victory, the variable shifted one final time. Eleanor didn't look at her husband, and she didn't look at her son. She calmly reached out her hand, took the flash drive, and slid it into her own bag. With a smooth, faint smile, she stood up and whispered that they had both built beautiful traps. But they had forgot who actually wrote the encryption codes. The hunter didn't just become the prey, they both realized. They were entering a completely different game,